Hi, my name is Karolina Sieler and I am a former law lecturer here in London, as well as the founder of a platform called firstclassllb.com, which includes a lot of materials for law students just like you to help them write first-class law essays and pass their exams to a first-class standard. So if you're interested in doing that, make sure you check out my website. But today I wanted to talk to you about what exactly are law journal articles and how can you find them? Now, I know that I have previously recorded a video about roughly the same topic. I was talking a little bit about journal articles, but there's a lot of information that I haven't mentioned in there that later on I got asked by students, and I just thought, yeah, it's time to make an update to the video because there's just plenty more information that I should be including in it. So let's start with what are journal articles. Journal articles in law, especially, are kind of like long essays about a particular topic in law. And they are usually written by law lecturers or professors or researchers in law who are professionals. So they are usually employed by the university, and they know an awful lot about a specific area of law, and they spend a lot of time researching it, and for that reason they are really well versed in it. Now, because of that, they are likely to be writing in a language which is very complicated. So don't be afraid and don't be kind of scared if you start reading journal articles about in a specific area of law and at the beginning you can't understand them. It honestly happens to every single law student. And I would like to say that this feeling will go away before the end of your degree, but it might not fully go away before then. So don't beat yourself up about it if it doesn't. The best thing that you can do is to just try to do your best in understanding them and trying to come up with strategies to make themselves easier for you to understand. By the way, if you're interested in learning a bit more about things like how to skim read through a journal article, how to read any journal article in 5 minutes or under 5 minutes and understand what it is about, I have included a few videos about that, a few lessons in my course, which is called First Class Law Essay Writing Course, and it's available for purchase online. I'm going to provide a link to it down below. But let's get back to what are journal articles. So journal articles are effectively organized in journals, which are kind of magazines for those things. So if you think you might have a normal magazine with different articles about, I don't know, fashion. So the same thing happens. There is a magazine every month, let's say, and the same happens with a journal. It might not come out every month. Some of them come out quarterly, some of them are annual, but there is some sort of regularity, and it's a kind of a book or booklet whereby all the journal articles sit. Now, it used to be the case that journals were generally printed, all of them, and they were not published online. These days, more and more often, journals are being published purely online, so there's even no printed version, but we still do have this kind of regularity about how journal articles are published in journals. So an example of a journal article might be, an example of a journal might be the Oxford Journal of Legal Studies, or the Medical Law Review, or the Modern Law Review. Now, notice that there are two different words, two different phrases that were used there. One of them is called a journal, and the other one is called a law review. You will come across both of those names when you start looking at journals, but for our purposes, they basically mean the same thing. Both of them contain a list of different articles that you might want to use in your essays, and that's the thing you should stick to, and that's the only thing you need to know, really. So whether you'll come across a journal or a law review, it's all fine, just as long as these are legal journals or law reviews. They cannot be journals or law reviews from a different type of an industry or profession. Now, Let's talk a little bit about how are law articles organized in journals. So usually, just like with I don't know, a fashion magazine, you have a monthly magazine. So what happens with journal articles is that they are organized into some sort of volumes, and then those volumes are then divided into issues. So the volumes might be something that will be, let's say, published quarterly or annually, and then issues are within it. So there's one volume and then maybe 4 issues. Within that. I hope that makes sense. These might be called either by numbers, so it could be that you will come across an article which is published in Volume 3, Issue 2 of the 2018 Modern Law Review. But it could also be the case that there will be, the volumes will be called Spring, Summer, Winter, and Autumn. They could be called this. Sometimes they have very funny names, or the names they are named after some sort of legal academics, so their surname is the thing that distinguishes different volumes. It's all fine, don't get scared by this. It's just a way of organizing them. So you could, for example, have the spring volume of an issue number 3 of a 2019 publication, let's say a medical law review. Now, these volumes and issues used to be very, very practical and very useful when when most of the journals were published in the library, and they were published actually printed. So you would have to go to the library and you would have to pick a copy of the journal, you would have to find it on their shelf, and then you would have to go through the years and then find the volume of the year and then find the issue within the volume, and that's how you were able to very easily come across the article that you needed and find it and extract it. But these days, because we're using mostly databases such as Westlaw and LexisNexis to look for journal articles, more often than not, you're not going to be looking for a volume or an issue of a specific journal. You're just going to be typing the title or typing in the keywords in the search bar of those platforms and trying to figure out whether there are any articles that interest you and that are relevant to what you're writing about. And so Westlaw and LexisNexis are effectively databases that pull together articles, journal articles in law, not just from one journal, but from the vast majority of journals available in law in the UK. And the thing is that neither of those platforms will actually give you full access to all of the journal articles that you will need. So very often you might come across an article that you found on Westlaw and there is no full copy available there. There is just a sort of a title and sometimes maybe an abstract that tells you what the article is about, but there is no full copy of it available. That's fine. This is why you have usually universities provide you with access to both Westlaw and LexisNexis so that you can use these platforms interchangeably, and if you can't access an article through Westlaw, you can do it through LexisNexis usually. If you can't do that, then there's always an option to go to your library and ask for something called the Interlibrary Loan, which is requesting for your librarian to send you access to an article. Usually it's a scan, so you get it through an email and you're able to look at it at home. And they get it from a different library. The libraries just exchange these things to make things easier for themselves and to give everyone full access to things. Now, how do you find law journal articles? I have mentioned that most of law journal articles these days is published online, and that means that they have their own website. So you can, for example, go to the Modern Law Review website and you are able to look at these articles online. Now, when you go on the website of the Modern Law Review, you are likely to be asked to log in and to pay some sort of a subscription fee. And these subscription fees are usually quite expensive. And there's usually also a fee that you can pay to get a single article, which again is quite pricey. It can be something like the cost of a textbook. The good news is that you honestly do not have to be paying for any of those materials. The purpose of your university is to provide you with all the materials that you need, and they do it through Westlaw and LexisNexis, and they also do it through the Interlibrary Loan. So if you come across an article that you cannot find, again, I'll just reiterate this. If you come across an article that you cannot find in Westlaw, cannot find in LexisNexis, you go on the website, you found it on the, let's say, the website of the Modern Law Review, but there is a fee that is being asked for it. The access is not free. You're going to your library and you're asking, how can I get access to this article? Realistically, unless you're working on an extended dissertation, most of the articles that you will need will be available, or I'll say it differently, there will be a good range of articles available on either Westlaw or LexisNexis or both of them that you'll just be able to go through, and so that any article that you can't access will not make that much of a difference. But if there is something that you really need to look at, then ask your library about the interlibrary loan arrangements. Now, in terms of just one final thing that I often get asked is, why don't I get access to all of the articles I need on Westlaw and or LexisNexis? Well, there is a simple reason for that. Law journals are usually, there's usually a subscription fee for that, and what happens is that your university will pay a certain level of subscription with both Westlaw and LexisNexis. Sometimes it's a higher level of subscription so that you get more access to more publications. Sometimes it's a lower level of subscription, and there are some journals that are not added in there, and that's just a pure reason why you might not be able to find all of the articles on Westlaw or LexisNexis. But again, there's always an option of the interlibrary loan. Just one final thing I'm going to mention. If you're interested in learning more about exactly how to use Westlaw and how to use LexisNexis for researching stuff for your essays, then I have included a very detailed step-by-step guide when I have the Westlaw on my screen, or I have the LexisNexis on my screen, and I am talking you through how to exactly get the articles that you need for a specific topic from both of those platforms. And these lessons are included in the first class law essay writing course which I have created, so make sure that you check it out if that's what you're interested in. Now, that's it from me for today. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and stay tuned for plenty more videos. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to learn more about law, and yeah, I'll be in touch soon.